Sister Laila live. Sister Laila live. Weekly for the dollar at the hour. Ask Sister Laila live. Sister Laila. Invite your friends and family. Get cozy. Ask Sister Laila.
Join us every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern for the Ask Sister Laila Live Call-In and Answer Show. Please join Ustada Laila Nasheeba. If you have any questions in regards to this theme, call in at 862-370-2838. Now streaming on various platforms right here on SunnahFollowers.
That you have made it through the first week. And like I spoke about earlier today, the rewards or the benefits of fasting, the benefits of having attained or reached that level of consciousness with the law, you should start seeing it in some type of way. Life should be a lot more easier for each and every one of us. Okay? You should see that it's not as hard for you to handle the trials of life as it was before Ramadan, because you are making that change, you know. So any questions in that Zoom room before I go to the other ones, Sister Fame?
Yeah, there's one here. The question is, can a person take caffeine pills during suhoor so to stop their caffeine headaches while fasting?
Okay, this is a good question because first of all, I talked about that headache before. This is a misconception, and any doctor, medical doctor will tell you. A lot of people think that you get a caffeine headache from not having coffee. That's not true when you fast. The headache that you are experiencing is the same headache that most Muslims get, even those who don't drink caffeine. And that headache happens because, as my medical doctor, she's a Muslim and she's a physician, she said the headache comes because when we're fasting, our level of sugar, the glucose in your body, your sugar level drops. That's normal. Just like if you watch television shows like Survivor, or you watch shows like Naked and Afraid, what's the first thing that they talk about? The headache after the first day or after the first 16 hours of not eating. What happens? They get a headache. And it ain't got nothing to do with no caffeine. It's called your sugar level has dropped. And that's why, if you notice, as soon as you break your fast and eat something, that headache goes away. It's not because of the coffee. Eat a banana. When you eat anything that has natural sugar, that headache goes away. It makes your glucose level goes up. So no, you don't take no caffeine pills, because if you take caffeine pills, you know what you're going to do? You're going to OD. You're going to overdose off of caffeine. And what's going to happen is your heart is going to start beating real fast. You're going to get anxiety. You're going to get anxious. And any doctor will tell you, don't take caffeine pills. Caffeine pills are bad for you because it affects your heart. You're going to be doing this. And you want to know why you done died of a heart attack when you wasn't but 20 years old? Caffeine overdose from those pills. No. So the headache that you get from fasting has nothing to do with coffee. This is a misconception. It has nothing to do with tea. It's because you went for a certain amount of hours. And with any of us, if we go a certain amount of hours, the glucose level in your body, which is the sugar level, drops. And it's going to, bam, hit you right here in your head. But when you break your fast and eat something sweet like a date, that's why the Prophet encouraged us to break our fast with dates, because dates have natural sugar. Once you eat that date, that headache is gone in 5 minutes. Once you eat a banana, it's gone. Once you eat anything that has sugar, natural sugar in it, it's gone. Okay? So to answer your question, no, stay away from drugs. People that take caffeine pills, read on the internet what happens to a lot of them. They OD off of them. Leave that stuff alone. The same with that Red Bull. Oh yeah, a lot of our Muslim youth are destroying themselves drinking that Red Bull and stuff. That stuff ain't good for you. You're gonna make your heart bam. That's why you read hear on the news, kids 20 years old dying from heart attacks. Red Bull, that caffeine. All right. Okay, Allah knows best. Next question.
If the angel Jibril is assigned to conveying the revelation of Allah to the prophets, what is his role now that all revelations have ceased?
There will be no more prophets, so he has other roles. That's not the only role that the angel Jibril has. Remember, I did the series on the angels. The Jibril is the leader over the angels. He's the one that tells the other angels what to do. So delivering the message to a prophet was just one of his many roles. Okay, ain't no need for him to come down here to earth anymore. He used to come down to earth and talk to the prophets of Allah, but ain't no more prophets, so he don't come down here. In fact, the only time that the angel Jibril comes down to earth now is the night of decree, the night of Qadr. During the night of Qadr, that's why the night of Qadr is a special night, because even Jibril comes down. But now Jibril stays up there and he gives the orders. The Prophet Muhammad said, whenever Allah wants something to do or something to be done, he will call the angel Jibril and he will say, oh Jibril, I want such and such thing to be done. And then Jibril will go and announce it to the other angels. He will say to the other angels, Allah wants such and such to be done. For example, the prophet said, whenever Allah wants it to rain, he'll say, oh Jibril, I want it to rain in California. So Jibril will go to Michael and he will say, Michael, Allah wants you to make it rain in California. So then Michael will go to the angels underneath him and say, make it rain. So Jibril, that's not his only job. He has other jobs. He's the leader over all the other angels. So he's busy. He's busy telling the angels to do whatever Allah wants them to do. And Allah knows best. Yeah, that's why we have to learn the deen. The brother here said he didn't know that. Yes. You know, we got to learn the religion correctly and thoroughly. Y'all think that the angels have just one job? The angels are the soldiers of Allah. They're the ones that carry out whatever Allah has them do. Yeah. Revelations was just one thing. That was the easiest thing Jibril did. He got other stuff to do. Yeah. Any other questions in the Zoom? Yes. Right. Okay. Yes, I see your question. No, this is one of your kids asking that. No, the angels don't have halos. Okay, one of your children is asking that, Sister Misha. Okay, yes. No, the angels don't have halos. No, but they do have wings. Some of them have 2 wings, some have 3, some have 4. The angel Jibril had over 600 wings. Yes, but they don't have halos. No. And they don't look like us either. No, they're a different creation. They don't look anything like us, but they can take on the form of a human being to come to carry out whatever Allah has them carry out. And Allah knows best. Yeah, she's sweet. She likes hearing about the angels there. That's sweet. Yeah, the angels are the friends. They're our friends, guys. They're the angels of mercy. They come down night and day. They make dua for us. They are praying for us now. The angels of mercy are making dua right now, asking Allah to forgive all the believers of their sins. Exactly. Alhamdulillah. Oh, you want to see there? Okay. Okay, next question. Any more in there? Yeah, I'm getting ready to check now, sister. Yeah, I'm coming in there now. I'm sorry. Oh, this is the wrong. I forgot. I got two phones. So you said you put some questions on. You sent some in. Okay, I remember earlier today the phone was beeping. Okay, let me look at it now. Okay, one of the sisters here is asking. She said, I am a new Shahada. I just started listening to your lectures, and I want to thank you for making everything simple and keeping it real. I like to hear that. A lot of you say that, keeping it real. She said, thank you for keeping it real. She said, I listened to one of your lectures. Oh, I can't see. I listened to one of your lectures, and you said that if we deliberately commit a sin, Allah doesn't accept our good deeds. Can you explain that further for me? May Allah bless you, Sister Nasheeba. Okay, yes. Okay, and I'm glad you asked that too, sister. And by the way, I'm so proud of you for being a new Muslim and trying to learn this religion correctly. And I'm proud of you for making the attempt to change your life to that which is pleasing to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us to not become the bankrupt man. And he was asked, who's the bankrupt man? He said, the bankrupt man is the man who will stand before Allah on the day of judgment thinking he has all these good deeds that he did that'll be in his favor. But in reality, he'll fall short. He won't have any good deeds at all because he lived his life disobeying Allah and died intentionally disobeying Allah. You know, the Prophet told us in another hadith, guys, if ever a person is committing a major sin, if you're committing a major sin, Allah is not accepting any of your deeds. Not the obligatory ones, nor the voluntary ones, until you stop committing that sin. And a lot of people don't understand what a major sin is. If you were to ask the average person, what's a major sin? They'll say, oh, fornication, adultery, homosexuality, intoxicants, and these are major sins. But let's give the whole definition. The major sins, these are the actions of disobedience to Allah that you knowingly commit. The minor sins, these are the mistakes. They are the actions of disobedience to Allah that you committed, but you did not know that they were sins. Let me give you the hadith that explains this. A man had just converted to Islam. And what's the source of this hadith? Sahih Bukhari. A man had just converted to Islam. After he converted to Islam, he was seen by another man kissing, touching, doing everything except penetration with a woman. So when this other companion saw him doing that, he said, hey, you can't do that. You're a Muslim now. He said, you can't touch a woman that way unless she's your wife. Well, this man didn't know. So he got scared. He stopped and he ran to the mosque. He ran to the Prophet. He said, oh, Prophet of Allah, I'm doomed. I'm doomed. I'm doomed. The Prophet said, why? What happened? He said, I did everything except penetrate a woman. I did not know that I couldn't touch her. The prophet said, didn't you pray the Dhuhr prayer with us? He said, yes. The prophet said, are you going to pray Asr with us now? The man said, yes. The prophet said, don't you know that Allah forgives you of the minor sins you commit from Dhuhr to Asr? And he forgives you of the minor sins you commit from Asr to Maghrib. And he forgives you of the minor sins you commit from Maghrib to Isha. And the man got happy. He said, is this just for me? The prophet said, no, this is for all Muslims. So you and I know that if I was to go and kiss and touch the man next door to me, that this is a sin. So if I did it, will Allah just forgive me of it by just making my prayer and moving on? No, I have to repent because I know it's haram. But that man did not know that it was haram to kiss and touch a woman. So it was a minor sin to him. And because he didn't know, it was a mistake for him. And because he changed and stopped and felt bad about it, he's forgiven of it. But if I were to do that, I'd have to make tawbah. I'd have to go through the steps of stopping the sin, feeling guilty for having done it, being determined to never do it again, and then making restitution if it applies. So that's the dalil. A lot of people don't explain what major sins are correctly. What may be a major sin to me may be a minor sin for that new shahada. And what may be a minor sin for that new shahada is a major one for me because I knew it was haram and she didn't. Is that clear? So I hope that makes sense. So you know that you're supposed to wear hijab. You know that you're supposed to cover your body when you leave the house. You know that you're supposed to wear an overgarment that is not tight fitting and that does not show your skin. And you're supposed to wear a khimar over your bosom like I am to cover your breasts. But you're not dressing that way, even though you know that you're supposed to. That's a major sin for you, sister. And unless you stop doing that sin, unless you repent from that sin, Allah is not accepting none of your fasts. He's not accepting none of your prayers, your charity, or nothing else. Y'all see that? That's the bankrupt person. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of us on the day of judgment who will stand before Allah bankrupt with no good deeds at all, because we deliberately picked and chose what laws of his to live by and what laws not to. And Allah knows best. I hope that's clear. Any other questions in there? In the Zoom room? Anything there?
Nothing here, but I see this one question on YouTube. The brother asked earlier, which seerah books would you recommend?
There's a lot of seerah books. There's a lot of stories of the Prophet Muhammad. I would suggest you buy the one on Amazon written by Sheikh Kareem Abu Zaid. Go to Amazon.com. Dr. Kareem Abu Zaid has about 2 or 3 seerah books on the life of the Prophet. His books are easy to understand, and I would strongly suggest you guys buy his. So get the seerah books written by Kareem Abu Zaid, inshallah. Other books are out there, but they're very, very complicated, very, very hard to read. And for the new shahadas, I would even recommend buying the children version, Kareem Abu Zaid has children versions of the Sirah and also adult versions. I would get the children's version too, because you're a baby. You're new in the religion. Okay, and then I'll read that and then get the adult version and read it too. So I recommend Dr. Kareem Abu Zaid's books, and all his books can be purchased on Amazon. Yes, on Amazon. Okay, the sister here is asking, are you going to speak about the rewards of, excuse me, giving in charity? Yes, I'm going to cover that in my 6:30 class. In fact, I'm going to talk about that probably the end of next week. Inshallah, the end of the second week, I'll start going into detail about the virtues of giving in charity during this sacred month of Ramadan. Okay, and here's another question from off of Twitter. Okay, this brother is asking, I just answered this last week too, so it's a question that comes up a lot. He wants to know, is his yearly zakat due in Ramadan? He said the money was in his possession for a year since January. Okay, you have a year, that you already basically answered your question. Whatever zakat you have to pay, one of the criteria or the conditions is it must have been in your possession, your physical possession, for at least a year. And since your zakat has been in your possession for a year since January, now you need to pay it. And Ramadan is a good time to pay. Why? Because all of our good deeds are multiplied up to 700 times or more. So your zakat was due in January. But if you want to pay it in this month, this is the best time. Yes, pay your zakat in this time of year, in this month for you. But is it due every Ramadan? No, for you, it's due in January. Because whatever you have, it must have been in your possession for at least a year. Okay? Yes, and Allah knows best. Okay, this is a good question too. Brother Amir, he said, Sister Laila, I read so many hadiths. Oh, and that was one of your that question came from you? I saw that question on here too. Hold on, because I can't hardly see it. Let me read it here. That was from you, Brother Amir. Okay. He said, Sister Laila, I have read numerous hadiths that speak about the reward of doing actual jihad. We don't do jihad now because nothing here. How can I get reward for jihad? Okay, this is a very, very good question. Very, very good question. And the answer takes me to the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After Islam had spread it throughout Arabia, after the conquest of Mecca, and when the Quraysh and the other tribes, all except for one, there's only one tribe that hadn't, the people of Taif. But after Islam has spread it throughout Arabia and the Quraysh converted, that's when the prophets, and the source of this hadith is Bukhari. That's when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there is no more, because the jihad was over, basically. The fighting was over. Okay, the Muslims had to migrate. You know, all those hadiths that you read about not living in a non-Muslim land, they were referring to Mecca then, because the Muslims were not allowed to practice their religion in Mecca. So they had to migrate, to leave Mecca, to move to Medina. So the prophet said there will be no more, there's no more need for migration. When he said there's no more need for migration, because now we can live anywhere in Saudi Arabia as Muslims and practice our religion. Okay, but there'll always be the jihad, the struggle. Jihad doesn't mean war. Jihad is an Arabic word that refers to struggling in the way of Allah, fighting in the way of Allah, not just physically, but also fighting my demons, fighting my soul, fighting to keep my faith strong. Okay? We'll always be involved in that, guys. Okay? So you don't have to migrate anywhere. Okay? But you can get the reward of that by struggling against your own personal jinn. You guys are living here in America. This is a non-Muslim society. We are surrounded by more evil than we are good. We have LGBTQ. We have naked women out. When we walk out the house, we see naked women. We walk out the house, we see naked men. Music is everywhere. You can't go to a grocery store. You can't go to a bank. You can't go to a park without hearing music. You can't even drive down a street without a person driving up next to you, not only playing music, but smoking weed. You got to smell that nasty weed. Oh, it stinks. You drive through the inner city and it smells like sex, barbecue, and weed. I'm telling you, I can always tell when I reach the city because it smells like sex, barbecue, and weed. And I have to roll my windows up and turn on my air conditioning. Okay? So that's a struggle. It's a struggle for us to live in a non-Muslim society and maintain our taqwa Allah, to maintain our consciousness of Allah, our fear of his punishment. And the simple fact that you're doing that, you're getting a reward as if you migrated somewhere. You're getting a reward as if you were fighting in a battle, because you are, except you're not on the battlefield. The battlefield is your heart. Okay, your fitra is the fortress within the heart that you're trying to protect and maintain. So the simple fact, Brother Amir, that you live here in America and you're staying away from that which is going to compromise your faith, you're getting the same reward as if you were fighting in a battle on a battlefield. And you're getting the same reward as if you migrated somewhere. And Allah knows best. See how easy this religion is. All we have to do is practice it. The fact that you're a young brother and you don't smoke weed, you're not drinking, you're not having sex out of wedlock, you're trying to maintain your deen, you're practicing your prayers, you practicing fasting, all of that. That's a struggle. That's jihad. And it's like migration. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Any questions in that Zoom room? Any in there, guys? None?
No, nothing here.
Okay. Okay. Oh gosh. This question here is what you wanted me to look at, Brother Edward? Oh gosh. Y'all sure y'all want to hear my answer on this one? Okay. One of the new shahadas here has sent the message saying that his daughter is 15 years old. And he just found out that his daughter is into boys. He said he does not think, at least she's told him, that she has not gone past third base. They still use that terminology. I never knew what first base was. I never made it to first base. I'm a square. Mina, Yeah, what's third base? Is that the, Geechee? What's third base? I didn't know they talk that way. Anyway, he said his daughter, at least she said she never made it to third base. He said, but what should he do, knowing that his daughter is into boys now, and he wants to maintain her taqwa? Is that what you're trying to say, taqwa? You spell tala. Tala, taqwa. Okay, this is my answer, and you may not like it. It's time to get girlfriend married. Marriage is good and clean, but fornication is bad and dirty. It's time that girlfriend gets married. If she's 15 years old and she's active, I'm going to use the word active because I'm a square. I ain't never dated, never had boyfriend. I don't know what first base is, second base, third, or fourth. They got a fourth base, right? I don't play baseball either. But anyway, I don't know. I ain't into sports. I play bid whist. I can run a Boston. I can take you to Beantown. I can take you to Beantown and make you weep. That's all I know about is bid whist. Yeah, I'm a Boston. I'll run a Boston on you. That's all the only sports I know. But if girlfriend is active, she's into boys, it's time to get her married. So what I would suggest you do, brother, is look at the people in your community, the boys in your community. You got an Islamic community, so the families in your community. It's time to go to your best friend, the brother that you kick it with, and say, hey, you got a son that's 18, or you got a son that's 16. Why don't you marry your son to my daughter? It's time to get girlfriend married. And then she can live, her and her husband can live in y'all's house. Because at least they're married and they can finish school together and go to college together, grow up together and be Islamic together. We don't want to talk about that, because nowadays people are against marriage. It's all about, let my daughter go to college. I want her to become a doctor, and all that nonsense. And while she's being a doctor, she done had sex and she done went to fourth, fifth, sixth base, had a couple abortions, and said, forget about Allah. Some kafir dude done turned her out. We got to get these kids married. Get them married when they're young. Okay, this is what happens when you deny a person their nature. So the fact that she's had boyfriends and she told you she done been the first and second base, that should be all you need to hear. She's ready for third and fourth and fifth base. In fact, she looking for a home run. So why don't you give her that home run by getting her married? Look at the brothers in your community, the families in your community, and who has a nice son who's her age or close to her age. And you sit down with his parents and y'all talk about it. Because just like she's a girl and she's smelling her Wheaties, there's a lot of boys her age who's smelling theirs too. It's time to get these kids married, and Allah knows best. Okay, next question. Any questions in that Zoom room? Every time I get those answers, people get angry. Yeah, but we talked about that yesterday. The good appears to be evil. Y'all rather have y'all's daughters fornicate than get them married. I got married when I was young. Okay, next question. Go ahead.
The question is how to stay encouraged when your spouse does not practice the deen. I'm the only one in my home practicing the deen. My spouse listens to everything worldly, and I have a hard time going into another room because it's the only time we spend together. My spouse does believe in Allah and His oneness.
Okay, your spouse is a loser, and this is a marriage that will never work out. Because that's why Allah says righteous women are for righteous men. Irrighteous women are for irrighteous men. If you are a Muslim and you're practicing your religion and you are a female, it's impossible to be with a man who is not practicing his without you becoming like him. Because Allah tells us in the Quran, He created men to be the rulers and leaders over women. As the Prophet Muhammad said, the woman will take on the religion of her husband. This is why we cannot marry kafir men. This is why you cannot marry a woman like me to a new shahada that don't even know how to pray. Because what is he going to do for me? How is he going to keep my deen strong? How is he going to lift me up any higher? I'm going to end up becoming weak, messed up, broke down like him. Those marriages never succeed. So what do you do in a situation like that? Divorce is good and clean. You have to leave that marriage. You have to tell that your husband that you want a divorce, because it's his job. That's his job. His job is to lead you to paradise. This man has failed on the job. He's only leading you to hell. So you need to contact your guardian or the local imam who specializes in marriage and tell him that you need a khula, a divorce. And the Prophet Muhammad tells us that Allah says anytime we give up something that would have been of a takedown for us, Allah will send us better. So that marriage is doomed. It's not going to work. You're going to end up becoming like him, because that's just the nature of a woman and a man. So it's time to seek a divorce, because you can't make him practice. Allah makes Muslims. Allah makes believers. And even though your husband says he believes in Allah, those are just words. The Christians say they believe in Allah too, but they're still kafir. They don't pray. They don't worship him the way he commanded, and they don't believe in what he said believe in. So I would suggest you get in touch with your guardian and try to seek a khula, a divorce, because that marriage is doomed. And if you a believing woman, you shouldn't even want to be with him. You can't pay me $1 million to be with a man that don't practice Islam. Now, Allah knows best. Okay?
The next question is, can a woman who's never been married get a pap smear if she has ovarian cancer in her family history?
Okay, a pap smear has nothing to do with nothing. It's just a medical treatment that Allah has given us. And our bodies have rights over us. And by the way, pap smears do not break your virginity either. That's another misconception. You got ignorant Arabs and ignorant Africans. Why do I say Arabs and Africans? Because that's where our Muslim countries are. You got ignorant Arabs from the Middle East and a bunch of Africans from Muslim countries in Africa who don't know anything about women and sexual relations and all of that. So they think that using a tampon breaks a girl's virginity. That's a lie. Having a pap smear doesn't impact your virginity either. Okay? A pap test is a medical procedure, a treatment that Allah sent to us to prevent and diagnose women with diseases like you're talking about that you can die from. And if you don't get that pap test, you're going to die. And if you don't get that pap test, when you die, the angel of death is going to ask you, why did you kill yourself? He's going to say, didn't Allah say that your body is a trust and you were supposed to take care of your body? Didn't Allah say in the Quran that sicknesses and disease comes from him? but he never sends a sickness. He never sends a disease without sending a treatment. So take the treatment. Didn't Allah say that? Yes, he did. But you refused it because you were stupid. You allowed yourself to be so ignorant that you were more concerned with what you think virginity is over protecting yourself from suicide. So you women better get off this virginity kick, okay? If a girl was raped, she's still a virgin. Are you women crazy? You better go to the doctor and get that cancer cut out and hope it don't spread and you die. And Allah knows best. And I have to be tough about this because too many Muslim women are dying every day from sicknesses that could have been prevented had they got a pep test, had they got a mammogram. You know how many Muslim women don't get mammograms and they die of breast cancer when breast cancer can be treated today if you catch it in the early stages? You know, I lost 3 of my best students over the past 10 years from ovarian cancer because they were too stupid to go get a pap test. And the doctors told them, had you had a pap test done, we would have detected this and we could have taken this stuff out and treated you. But now you're in stage 4 and there's nothing left but death. So I have to be strict on you girls and women about your bodies. Every woman listening to me should have a doctor, and you should go once a year. I repeat, once a year. I repeat, once a year to get a medical checkup, a complete checkup. You young girls, any girl who has a period, if you 10 years old, I was 10, I was 9 when my period came. I got my medical checkup every year since I was 9. Any girl with a menses should be getting a medical checkup, thorough checkup every year. And that checkup will include pep tests. And that pep test has nothing to do with virginity. I had pep tests done, and I was a virgin and got married and experienced everything that virgins experience. But I was born in America. I ain't from Africa, and I ain't from the Middle East. I had sex education classes in the 5th grade. They don't teach that in them countries. And that's why y'all dying of diseases you didn't have to die from because you're not educated about your body. You're so concerned with virginity and don't know what it is. A lot of virgins who are not virgins in your countries. I know what they doing. That ain't no virgin. And Allah knows best. That answer the question? Get your behind to the doctor before you die. Okay.
She says she understands.
Yeah,
and the next question is, can we get a Brazilian wax during Ramadan?
Ramadan ain't got nothing to do with a wax. Why would you ask me about that during Ramadan? What does a wax got to do with fasting? Do you eat it? Are you asking me, if you want to eat the wax or the hair, is your fast broken? That stuff ain't got nothing to do with fasting. That's hygiene. I can take a bath, I can shower, I can shave, I can comb my hair and do everything else. I just can't eat nothing. I can't put anything in my mouth and put it in my stomach or drink anything. And I cannot have sexual relations with my husband during Ramadan. Other than that, what does a Brazilian wax have to do with you fasting? If you want to go get a Brazilian wax, knock yourself out. Literally. This religion is easy, guys. Don't make it hard on yourself. And these are probably my new Shahada women. Don't make it hard on yourself. Yeah, get you a Brazilian wax. It don't matter. I don't know how you do it. That's too painful for me. But if you want to go get you a Brazilian wax, go ahead. Yeah.
And she said she was asking because she's showing her private to a lady.
That ain't got nothing to do with fasting. What breaks the fast? Okay, showing my privates to a lady ain't got nothing to do with breaking my fast. When I use the bathroom, I take my underwear off. That doesn't break my fast. What breaks the fast is to eat something or drink something or have sexual relations with your husband or to have sexual relations with yourself. That breaks your fast. You're going to get a treatment done. You're going to get hair removed. That ain't got nothing to do with eating or drinking. So there's nothing's wrong with that. I went and got my hair done yesterday. I went to a beautician. I got my hair washed, clean, curled. It ain't got nothing to do with fasting. I still fasted. Yeah. Yeah, that stuff doesn't break the fast. But yeah, go ahead and get your wax. Get your hair done too, and your toes and your hands too. Yeah, that doesn't break it either. Right, a pedicure, manicure, none of that stuff impacts your fast. Okay, the sister here said, you can get your hair done. She said, Sister Laila, I am a new Shahada. I didn't know that I can go to a beautician. Yes, that's a service. Yeah, you want to go to get your hair done, sisters? Yes, as long as there's no men. You can't have no man do your hair. And there can't be no men in the shop watching while you get it done either. But yes, just because you're Muslim doesn't mean that you can't take care of yourself. I get my hair done every 2 weeks. Go to the beautician. Yeah, get your hair done. Just no fake braids and no fake hair. No dreadlocks. No fake hair, no fake braids, and no dreadlocks. But anything else you want to do to your hair, and you cannot shave your head bald. If you a woman, yes, Sister Amira, yes, a woman. Oh, you didn't know? Wait a minute, I got the new shahadas going up over here. Let's see what's going on. What happened? Okay, Sister Amira said some sister told them that they can't cut their hair, that Muslim women it's haram to cut our hair. Whoever this woman is, she's a fraud. Don't have her teaching y'all anything, because what is she basing on? Does she use PowerPoint like I do? Y'all see why I use that PowerPoint with all my evidence? Who is this numbskull that told you that you can't cut your hair because you're a woman? I bet you she's from India. Yep, they the ones. I've heard a lot of Indian Muslims say that. I don't know where they get that from. I think they Sufis. Maybe it's part of Hinduism. I don't know. Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet. Aisha radiallahu anha tells us that one of the most stressful times of her life was when they slandered her. When the people accused her of adultery, the Prophet Muhammad could not defend her. Because he was the prophet, it would have not been fair. And so when the prophet went to the mosque, he asked, is there anyone here who will defend my wife? Even Abu Bakr didn't, because he said, I'm her father, and it would be impartial. So Aisha, when the prophet came home and told her that no one in the mosque would defend her, she became sad, and she asked him, she said, well, can I go stay with my parents? She said, I just don't feel good. Can I go stay with my mother? Because she was very close to her mother, Rumain. So the prophet told her yes. So she, went and stayed with her mother and her father. And she said it was the most miserable time of her life. She said she couldn't eat. She could not sleep. She began to lose weight, and she was already skinny. She said, but she became so frail And she was Aisha's color. She was white in color. She was pale in color. And she said the color from her face had became super pale, super white. Okay. She lost weight and her hair began to fall out. And some people say that Aisha may have also suffered with anemia, because Aisha had a problem with different things. A lot of people say it's possible that she could have been anemic. Well, because of her paleness and how anytime she got upset, you know, she would get super pale. But that's a different story. But anyway, she tells us that her hair fell out in spots. Okay, she had long hair, but it fell out and she had spots. So what she did was she took some scissors and she cut her hair to even it up. Aisha liked to do hair. By the way, you know, they had beauticians back then. And Aisha loved to do hair. She was a young girl. And that's one of the things that she liked to do was, you know, play with people's hair. She braid people's hair. You know, she was good with the scissors. She even took care of the prophet's hair. How many of you heard this? The prophet, she used to cut the prophet's hair for him. She used to wash his hair. You know, Aisha was a young girl. She loved to do hair. So she did her own hair. When her hair fell out because of the slander, she said she cut it to her shoulders because her hair used to come down her back, but it fell out and all that. So she cut it to her shoulders. Okay. So who is this woman that calls herself a shaker that's telling you sisters who are new shahadas that it's haram to cut your hair? Shakers come a dime a dozen. Give me a dime, I'll show you 12 idiots who call themselves shaker. There you go. You got one. This hadith is authentic. This hadith is Sahih Bukhari. You'll find the hadith of her cutting her hair to her shoulders in Bukhari and Muslim and Muwatta. Yeah, so who are these people telling you that you can't cut your hair because you're a woman? We have to be careful. As the Prophet Muhammad said, the lawful and the unlawful have been clearly defined by Allah. If I'm going to tell you something is haram, I got to bring the proof. There's a verse that says it. So if you're going to tell my new shahadas that it's haram for them to cut their hair, my sister from India, Shaker, where's your dalil? I don't play with my shahadas. Get away from my shahadas. You ain't qualified to teach it. Bounce back to India. And y'all don't bring her in there no more. Brother Edward, who is this woman? Don't have her in there no more. In fact, whoever's teaching y'all, tell them to use PowerPoint and take screenshots and send it to me. Yes. And yes, you can go to a beautician. Yeah, just get your hair done, but no fake hair, no dreadlocks, and nothing fake, no fake hair and stuff. Allah knows best. Okay, next question. Oh, you're welcome. Yo, you didn't know either, Michelle? Yeah, you sisters can go to beautician. Y'all better go get your hair done. How you gonna keep your mane? How y'all gonna keep y'all's mane? Don't no mane want to come home to no Medusa. You gotta keep your mane. Yeah. Okay, is Revelation the story of Muhammad? I never heard of it. Sister Fatima, they got so many books about the life of the Prophet Muhammad. It's a million. But like I told you, the Sufis writes most crap is filled with fairy tales. Just like when you read about that cave. How many of you think that a spider wove his web? That's a fairy tale. That ain't true. Didn't no spider spin no web to hide the Prophet and Abu Bakr. There's so many books that got garbage in it That's why I tell y'all, I recommend for my new shahadas to get the book written by Dr. Kareem Abu Zaid. He's got a couple of books on the life of the Prophet Muhammad, and they're simple. They're books that's based on the Quran and Sunnah. It's not based on a fairy tale or propaganda. And, you know, you can understand them better. Get the children's book. And they got the adult books. Kareem Abu Zaid's off of Amazon. Yeah. But there's a million books about the life. But so I don't know him. I don't know it. I just know that Kareem's books are good. I like his books. Oh, you got brothers telling you that too? Sister Pamela said you got some Muslim brothers saying that a woman can fast on their period. Yeah? Well, if the women are stupid enough to follow them, I guess they can. That's why I'm telling you, sisters, be careful who y'all take y'all's knowledge from, especially my new shahadas, Brother Edward, Sister Sandra. Y'all shouldn't be having people come in there talking about Islam in y'all Zoom room, and these people ain't got no credentials to back it up. They got to be people of the Quran and Sunnah, not people of the Sufi sect. That's the second person y'all had in there teaching garbage. Be careful, because you're going to be held accountable. Since you guys are the admins of that Zoom room for new shahadas, Allah's going to hold you, Edward, and you, Sandra, accountable for everything that goes on there, even the mistruths. So y'all shouldn't be having them people come up in there. Just have, you got enough with me and my people here. Can't nobody hold a candle to the Sunnah followers team. We it. Y'all should just keep us. And by the way, Dr. Ali is back. New shahadas. Dr. Ali is back. Inshallah, his class will be resuming on Tuesday. What time was it too? I forgot, but on Tuesday. We got Dr. Ali back. You don't need them Indian people coming in there telling y'all that junk. Yeah. Okay. No, Brother Amir, dreadlocks are haram. Dreadlocks are haram. Brother Amir, you got curly hair. You cut that crap out. You about to get married. Brother Amir, you're about to get married. You got naturally curly hair and you got them eyes. You take that crap out of your head. You don't need that. Cut that crap out and let your curls grow. Subhanallah. Get rid of them dreads. I told y'all them things are haram. What did the Prophet say? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came to the mosque, what's the source? Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet came to the mosque and a Bedouin had just converted to Islam. And the Bedouin's hair was in knots all over his head because Arabs let their hair knot up too. The Vikings let their hair knot up too. Most trifling people do. Wearing dreadlocks is trifling. That means I ain't got to do nothing to it. It's trifling. So anyway, the Prophet went to the mosque and this man, and that's the truth, whether y'all like to hear it or not, the truth is a bitter pill, but swallow it. So he went to the mosque and saw the man with his hair and dreads, and the Prophet told him to come here. The man came. The Prophet said, "Do you have a comb?" The man said, "Yes." The Prophet said, "Do you have some oil?" The man said, "Yes." The Prophet said, "Then go home and comb your head. Take those knots out. Tame your hair." So the man left. Then the Prophet went to the mosque for the next prayer and he saw the man. And the man's hair was combed, brushed, oiled. He had even cut his hair and everything. The Prophet told him to come here. And the Prophet said, "Now, isn't this better?" The man said, "Yes." The Prophet said, "Anyone who has hair on their head should be able to comb through it and oil it on a regular basis." He said, the shayateen, the jinn, they walk around with their hair in knots all over their head. He said, and we Muslims should be the opposite of the jinn. That's the dalil. The jinn wear dreadlocks. We don't imitate them. That's imitating the jinn. They don't comb their hair. They let their hair knot up and get like that. And also Allah tells us in the Quran about the tree of hell, the tree of Zakum. It grows from the pits of hell. Its fruit is like the heads of the jinn in knots all over the place. So what other dalil y'all need? The dalil about anyone who has hair must comb through it. That's the dalil there, because you can't comb through a dread. A lock can't get combed through. It's haram. Cut that crap off. It ain't attractive. Also, Allah hates ugliness. Dreadlocks are not only imitation of the jinn, they're ugly, they're dirty, they're filthy, they stink. Ask any beautician. They stink. Your scalp is never right. You have to cut it out, and your scalp has to be conditioned. And it takes a long time to get back normal. Brother Amir, you a handsome young dude. Get them dreads out, that beautiful curly head of yours. Let your curls be natural and free. Let it be natural and free, Brother Amir. And Allah knows best. Yeah. Okay, what's a recon? Boy, y'all really make up some names. I heard a revert. Now y'all got a new name called a reconvert. 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 Okay, I think what you're asking, excuse me. Yeah, these my kids. My kids here in the website. Brother Amir's handsome. Y'all see the big. Yeah, wait a minute. Let's see what he typed. He said maybe a low cut. What you mean by low cut, Brother Amir? Yeah, these my babies, y'all. Hold on. Yeah, just cut your. You got to cut all that crap off and cut it down low and let it grow. Let it grow. It's gonna, your hair grow back fast. Brother Amir, you look good. It's gonna be fine. Your new wife, your fiance, when y'all get married, she gonna love you, and y'all gonna have some beautiful babies. You're gonna make some beautiful babies, inshallah. Yeah, cut it low and let it grow. Yeah. Okay. Now, I think what this person is asking me is, this is a person that converted to Islam, and then he deviated and went away from it. And now he's come back. It depends. Did you embrace Christianity when you left? If you left Islam, let me tell you, if you took on a belief system other than Islam, say, for example, you apostated from being a Muslim and you became a Christian, in that case, yes, you can take your shahada over. Or you apostate, because that's what an apostate is. An apostate is a person that leaves Islam for another lifestyle. If you apostated from Islam and became a Wiccan, a witch, you apostated from Islam and became a Hindu. If you apostated and converted to Christianity or something, yes, take your shahada over. But if you didn't really apostate, instead, you just stop practicing Islam. You just stop praying. You stop doing your obligations. You still believed in Allah. You never denied that he's the only one worthy of worship, but you stop practicing. I want you guys to know that you don't have to take the shahada over, because guess what? When you fall down to your knees and repent and make your first salat, you're going to raise your finger and say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. So the Shahada is repronounced every time we make salat. That's what the tashahud is. Atayatu lillahi wa salawatu wa tayyibat. That's what that you're saying. You know, you're reaffirming your Shahada. Also, when you recite the Fatiha, you know, so if you are just a Muslim that didn't practice, no, you don't have to take your Shahada over because you never left Islam. You just stopped practicing it. The people who need to recant their Shahada are those who took on a different lifestyle, such as Christianity or Wiccan or something like that. Because when you make your first prayer, when you make that tashahud, that's it. You're giving Shahada anyway. You're reaffirming. Good question. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Go ahead. In the Zoom room.
Can you explain again how it's bad to cut the beard?
There's nothing to explain that it's bad. Allah didn't say it's bad. Allah said it's haram. Real simple. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, leave the beard alone. Trim the mustache if you want, but leave your beard alone. That's it. Ain't nothing else to say about it. Don't cut your beard. Leave it alone. That's it. Okay. What y'all ask the person what they want. I mean, I can't make that no more. Just don't cut your beard. Just leave it alone. I didn't say it. The Prophet Muhammad did. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yeah, any other questions? Yeah, this brother here said the religion is so simple. Brother Jamal said, Sister Laila, thank you for making it so simple. And he said, I have to piggyback on keeping it real. Y'all with this keeping it real. Keeping it real. Yeah, it's true. But I guess we have to keep it real.
I have a question, Sister Laila.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding the dreadlocks. What if you're a beautician and you're a Muslim beautician? Can you put dreadlocks in someone's hair?
Very good question. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Allah has cursed the person that gets the hair artificially lengthened, and the one who does it, and the one who took the money for it, and the one who gave the money. So that hadith applies to that too. Just like we cannot, anything that Allah says is haram, is bad and dirty. That means we stay away from it. We can't do it. That's just like saying we don't celebrate Christmas, but I'm going to go ahead and buy a Christmas tree for my grandmother. What kind of stuff is that? That's celebrating Christmas. You're participating. Allah says, do not go near. Allah says in the Quran, do not go near that which is haram. So no, if you're a beautician, you cannot put fake hair in a person's head, nor can you do dreadlocks, but you can do all the other stuff. You can braid, you can do the silk press like I got, or anything else, but no fake hair, no fake extensions, no dreadlocks. But you can do everything else. You can do facials, pedicures, manicures, no eyelashes either. No fake eyelashes either. But you can do everything else. And Allah knows best. Good question. Okay, Sister Michelle said this makes sense because if it's bad and dirty, we shouldn't have nothing to do with it. Exactly. And I want y'all to remember that everything that Allah made haram is bad and dirty. So when you hear the word haram, that means it's bad and dirty. That's why we have to be careful using it. You're going to tell me that it's haram for me to wear kohol? In other words, you're saying that kohol is bad and dirty. The Prophet Muhammad's wives wore kohol. The Prophet Muhammad wore it too at night. So what's bad and dirty about it? Who said it's haram? Allah didn't say that kohol's haram. The Prophet didn't say it. If it was haram, why did he wear it? Why did his wives wear it? We have to be careful with this word haram. And if we understood the meaning of it, we would never use it unless we have evidence to the fact. And Allah knows best. Yeah. What about pictures in the home? You cannot have pictures of people or animals or anything with the soul on display, because that makes it hard for you to accept the qadar of Allah if something happens to that person or that thing. Okay? You can have pictures of your kids, but put them in a photo album and keep them in a drawer somewhere. But don't hang them up on the walls. Also, the angels of mercy do not enter a house that has pictures of people and animals and things that have a soul on display.